right. Hello, everybody. We are coming to you live from Widelity. Today, we have a very exciting interview. I get to speak with Mr. Paul Altoz. He is our CEO of Widelity. Paul, it is an honor to have you today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Preston. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm super excited to be able to dive in, especially with your experience into Widelity and the future of our company. But first off, what do you like most about Widelity?
Preston, that's a question I do get asked frequently. And, I have to say, what I first and foremost like about Widelity, and this sounds, canned and trite and so forth, but I really like the people I work with. And I can start with Dave Wiley, the founder and the chairman. I've known him seemingly forever. In fact, I believe this month it will be 23 years since I first met Dave
Wow.
Wiley. Yes, I know.
Long time.
Very much so. I'm aging, both David and myself. So Dave,
Hmm.
when you see this, I apologize. But yes, it's the people I work with are terrific. I know them at this point. I respect them, and almost more importantly is I really trust the people that I work with, and that's a great privilege. There's an old saying that I heard many years ago when I first started my business career that nothing happens in business until there is a sale. Until something is sold, nothing happens.
Yeah.
And yes, I think that's true, but I like to also think that nothing happens until there's trust.
Mm.
Because trust is the building block of any relationship. Without that, any success that you have will be accidental, it'll be ephemeral. And so that's the people I work with is really the thing I do enjoy most about Widelity. And also, it's also extremely gratifying to look back and see what Widelity and the people that I've worked with and the people who've worked at Widelity have built over the years. We're coming up on our 15th anniversary in just a couple of weeks here.
Nice.
And when you think about it, it's quite a milestone. Most businesses fail in the first few years. So yes, it's pretty humbling to think that we have been in business for 15 years and we've been successful to the extent we have been. So that's not necessarily what I enjoy most about Widelity, but it's just such a gratifying aspect of my work and my career here at Widelity that I did want to point that out.
I love that because you mentioned work relationships like that of real relationships. And I love how you presented the quote that tends to be passed around, which is, nothing happens until there's a sell. But I think the reason that we're 15 years in is because the connective tissue. And that connective tissue is those relationships. So you focus on that. You also get the sales, and you're 15 years later. So that's really cool. Now, what I'm interested in knowing about is your role as CEO. Tell us about it.
My role as CEO, it's extremely diverse. I do as CEO, I can and I often do get involved in so many different things. And my primary role, though, is to ensure that our clients are well served, that Widelity grows, and that Widelity is a great place for people to work and have a career that they enjoy and really makes a difference. So the description, of course, it covers a lot of different possibilities. And a big part of the role is to prioritize these possibilities and evaluate the many opportunities that are out there. It's a really interesting and exciting time to be in technology. The last year with the pandemic, I think, has really brought that home in that so many people are working from home and having to, again, forge relationships in entirely new ways in many cases. Widelity was fortunate in that we did have such a dispersed business model to begin with, and the pandemic and the technologies involved in that really didn't impact us as much as it did a lot of other people in industries. But that's part of the reason it's such an exciting time to be here in the technology field. Now, my other role, and I think you touched upon this a little bit as well, Preston, is I'm an accountant and a CPA by trade. I'm not a technologist or an engineer per se. So I do take a very practical and financial approach to my role as CEO. And this entails making sure that I find the right people to do the right job. And since we are primarily a consulting firm, people are really the backbone of our business. And the skills and knowledge of what they bring to the table is what makes Widelity run. So finding the right people and giving them the tools and platform to create great things, that's really my role as a CEO, to make sure that they have things they need to make Widelity great, to make our clients successful, and at the same time to keep the ship on a steady course, both financially and otherwise.
I love it. It sounds like you wear a lot of different hats.
Oh boy, I do.
Yeah,
I do.
that's impressive.
It's a great thing, and it can be a difficult thing as well. But it's just part of the job.
I love that. Do you feel like your time as a CEO has sharpened the skill of being able to identify good people, talented people, or do you feel like that's something that you innately had?
I did not innately have that. I think that it's something that I've actually learned a great deal of that from David Wiley, who I believe has a really good sense of people. I like to think that because he's been somewhat of a mentor to me the last 20 years. So perhaps it's a little self-serving to say that. However, you do get a better sense of who people are, what they can do, what they like to do, what they are not so good at doing, and where to make sure that they can shine. For
Yeah.
example, engineers are really, really detailed and really good at what they do, but sometimes they don't like to step out of their particular comfort zone and do certain other things that involve maybe a more people oriented or a
Yeah.
more relationship building aspect of their job. So as CEO, I have to know the people, and fortunately, I've known a lot of these people for so long. I know what they can do, who they like, what they can do best, and I can also help point them to other opportunities where I think they can also thrive and shine.
That's awesome. You know what really impresses me about the role that you carry and what you do so well is the ability to maintain and work through the different hats that you have. I guess tangibly, what would be like a day to day for you?
Oh, okay. Again, my day to day, it's really diverse. For example, after this interview, Dave and I we're meeting with the latest member of our advisory board, a gentleman named Jay Cohen. He's a retired U.S. admiral. He's a great guy, and he's helping Widelity shape our strategy towards applying our FCC experience and our wireless expertise to ensure the nation's telecommunication networks are secure. So that's right after this call, or right after this meeting. Dave and I
Wow.
are meeting with this gentleman, and he's a fascinating guy, and he's really helping us to take Wyoming in new directions. This week, I've been putting on my accounting hat. I've been working with our outside auditors to make sure that our 2020 books are all wrapped up, and so that we can present our financial statements to potential investors, to bankers, and other people who may be interested in Widelity. So that's not necessarily a pleasant task, but it's definitely a necessary one, and it's a very important basic building block to help Widelity's credibility in the wider world. So I'll be doing that today as well. And I'll also be speaking with a potential candidate who can help provide us some much needed help in our growing in-building business. A gentleman who is an experienced engineer who can help our line of business leader, Barry Graves, help grow that business. One of the last meetings of the day will be with another one of our line of business leaders who has been bringing a couple of really interesting opportunities to us in the wireless space to help perhaps a company grow their wireless ISP business. So I'll be talking with him about some of the opportunities and challenges he has facing. And then this evening, I'm meeting with an old colleague at Widelity who now works for Google, actually, and I will be getting together with him to get his take on the future of wireless infrastructure and how the nation's security is being impacted by that. So again, my day it's very diverse. The calendar is almost always packed.
Mm.
And if there's one thing I wish I had, perhaps it's a little bit more thinking time, a little bit more time just to digest everything I have going on.
Yeah.
And I tend to do that at night when I go home and walk my dogs. So
Nice. What kind of dogs do you have?
we have my wife and I have two Chihuahuas. So
Awesome.
it's that can be interesting as well.
I hear you there. I got a little Yorkie,
Oh,
my
they're
wife
great.
and I.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
wonderful. Yes.
Keeps us on our toes for sure, runs the house.
Oh, with the two little ones run our house as well.
I love it. Well, I mean, that definitely sounds like every day is filled with many, many conversations in different directions. So I don't know how you keep it all together in one spot. I would be going crazy, but that's kudos to you. And when I think about Widelity and our company and where we're heading in the future, I think it'd be helpful to know a little bit about Widelity's unique value proposition and our approach to the marketplace. Is that something you can speak to?
Certainly, and that's a great thing to bring up, Preston. I'm so glad you did. Widelity is unique in many ways, and it's unique in that not only do we offer business advisory and consulting services, many firms do that.
Mm.
Big consulting firms do it. There's many boutique firms that provide business advisory and consulting services. But we're unique in that we also provide, in addition to that, the really practical hands-on engineering expertise. We actually will do what we call touch the boxes out there. Our engineers will get their hands dirty. They will program routers. They will install antennas if need be. They will troubleshoot wireless systems. They will troubleshoot the mobile edge communication systems that are now coming online. For example, we are doing a project with mobile edge computing with the NFL to make sure the referees can communicate with headquarters and make sure they don't blow too many plays. So we're doing so many interesting things on both the business consulting and advisory side and also the engineering side. And that really provides a lot of horsepower to us compared to a lot of other firms. And, we may be not that big. We're not a Deloitte. We're not an Accenture. But don't underestimate what we can do because of this unique approach that we bring to the marketplace.
Mhm.
And I'll give you a really just a quick story, a really kind of a
Please.
practical example of this. Years ago, one of the first clients I had was here in Virginia, and they asked us, "Listen, we're growing really quickly. We need a new solution for our IT infrastructure, including the telephone system at our headquarters." So one of the consultants and I at Widelity, we came up with a great plan. We found a great vendor who would do all the outsourcing for their laptops, for their telephones, for their wireless needs, and everything else. Well, one day the IP phones came to the office. Guess what? Widelity, myself, and a few other people were crawling under the desks, installing them, and everything else. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
maybe that's not a high tech touching of the box solution, but again, it's kind of a good example of how we will do the practical things that are needed to be done to serve our clients.
I love that. And it's their, happiness obviously above all. That's
Oh
really
yeah,
cool that you're willing to do that.
well somebody has to, so we're not too proud to do what it takes to serve our clients well. We at the end of the day, our clients are why we exist, and we
Yeah.
serve them happy.
I love that. And are you a big football fan?
I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan, Preston.
Awesome. That's good to know. That's good to know. We'll be keeping those refs on board.
Yes, hopefully we'll keep them honest and they don't blow too many calls against my beloved Ravens here.
I love
Go
that.
go Lamar Jackson. He's incredible.
Yeah, I hear you there. Now, Widelity has grown a lot over the past 3 years, considering everything that we've been in. We have the network and engineering side as well as the compliance side. Where do you see our company growing from here?
Well, I see us building upon the terrific successes we've had and the tremendous building blocks we've had and the successes we've encountered and nurtured, especially in the compliance side. I mean, the compliance group has been a tremendous success story. And along with our engineering expertise and wireless expertise, I think there's a great story and a great opportunity to be told in playing a more prominent role in the security of our national telecommunications infrastructure. 5G has the potential to be, as I think we all understand and know, to be a real game changer for many industries. There's so many use cases out there that haven't even been thought of or considered yet. But one of the overriding themes of 5G is going to be how do we secure these networks? How do we make sure that they are secure from, all the nefarious players and actors that are out there trying to steal information, trying to steal personal information, national secrets, and so forth. And Widelity, I think, has a great head start on this because we did produce recently the cost catalog and report for the FCC that's related to the Secure Telecommunications Act of 2019. And as also mentioned, our recent advisor that we brought on board, retired Admiral Jay Cohen, just a terrific guy. He's helping open doors that Widelity can present our solutions and our partnerships that we've developed over the last few years that can be a really great value to government agencies and others who are trying so diligently to secure our national network. So I think that, all these things that we've been working for and striving to put together over the last few years can really come together in these great new opportunities that 5G and the national security concerns present us.
Yeah, I feel like we as people are on the precipice of a new growth expansion with 5G. And I think that it's wise of our country, it's wise of companies like ours to also be committed to the security aspect, because I think sometimes we can get excited about that technology and not recognize maybe some of the holes that it can leave. But the fact that we're focused in on both is really exciting, and I feel like puts us in a unique opportunity to be able to kind of lead the charge, as it were.
That's a great way to put it, Preston. I think that Widelity does have a chance to play a really significant role in leading these efforts here. We have some partnerships with companies that are really taking the lead in securing our nation's network and making sure that all our networks in 5G are domestically sourced, are secure, and then also provide really terrific and unique solutions that our country and our telecommunications infrastructure is facing in the next several years. It's a really
That's
exciting time.
that's great to hear. What keeps you going? You know, with all the work that you got going, with all the different hats that you play, what's the internal drive? Where does that come from?
Again, I think the internal drive is I just really like the people I work with and I trust the people I work with. We're doing really interesting and exciting things. I mean, when I found out about the work that we're doing with the NFL, one of our business line leaders said, "Yeah, I was on the call with the commissioner of the NFL the other day." I'm thinking that is just so cool, you know.
It's
Um,
awesome.
Mike Lasky, of course, has been dealing with the FCC, and he has so much interesting insight and information into the future of the telecommunications infrastructure and outlook in this country. So there's always more to know. There's more to learn, and this industry just moves so quickly
Yeah,
that it's hard not to get excited about it. That keeps me going.
I love that. And if you had if the dream future came true for Widelity, what would that look like for you?
The dream future. The
Hmm.
dream future is that we just continue to grow. We continue to hire great people. That we can
Yeah,
continue to provide great careers and great paths for individuals and serve our clients, whoever they may be, and in just the best way possible. And I think if we do that, all the other successes will come with that. And I think that that's just the most important thing, to build those relationships, to build that trust, and to serve our clients as best we can every day. If we do those things correctly, the blocking and tackling, I think everything else will follow.
I love that. Well, Paul, you are a wealth of knowledge. I feel like I can learn so much from our conversations. I hope that we can do this again.
Sure.
But again, this is Mr. Paul Altoz. He is our CEO of Widelity. He is leading the charge, and we are very excited for our future. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you so much, Preston. It's been great to be here with you.
Likewise.